Hi everyone, welcome to today's energy reading and reset for the week. Um, yeah, we're gonna get started, and I don't really have a plan for how it's going, but first I'm gonna just sit for a moment to recenter before this begins. Okay, so today I'm feeling inspired and drawn to bring into the space sage, and I have the window open a cracked so that the sage can move throughout the space and release anything exiting through the window. I learned about utilizing sage for cleansing spaces from a woman in Vermont with Abenaki tradition. And so I first learned about it through her, and then also in my own studies have sat with it. There's still so much more I could learn about sage. So yeah, one thing that I try to be intentional about is utilizing it when I really feel called to, versus depending on it as my only tool in my tool belt for cleansing a space or centering myself. But today, this feels important to utilize, and also specifically to utilize with the camera rolling. All right, so I kind of want to share this. It's cute. It's this is my shell that I got from the ocean. Ooh, we dropped a bead. And then I have some, this is where I put my Palo Santo stick, which sometimes I use as well. So I'm going to put this right over here. So lately, I've been going on these walks and really connecting more with my awareness of my ancestry in this region, and through my mom's side. I kind of always felt a presence with the people who used to live in this area and ancestors, and I always just thought it was, me just being aware of the spirit realm. But then this past week, it really has sunken in more and more that what it is actually also my genetic and ancestral connection with the land and the people that originally inhabited the land. So yeah, I feel like that presence and those ancestors will be with us today, especially, and I'm still learning about it. Yeah, but for now, I feel like they are encouraging me to bring in the use of sage to this energy reset portion. So go ahead and close your eyes, or just, readjust your body so that you can take a deep breath, and as you exhale, release any muscle tension. Muscle and tension together is any mention. Muscle tension. Maybe do a brief scan across your body from the top of your head down the entire body, and just pay attention to where you may feel some tightness, or become more aware of where your jaw might be locked or your heart space might be a little locked, and simply bring awareness to that. And if you feel like it'll help, you can take deep breaths, and as you exhale, readjust your body to release those areas of tension, and notice where it traces back to. Usually it starts from the feet, and that in itself causes a ripple effect to tension in the jaw and the upper back, and then tension in the head. And I say all of this from my own experience. Another thing that I was reflecting on is how fire is a healing element, and it's one of the healing elements, and learning and utilizing it in your life, because I've been extra cold and I've been calling in heat and warmth and like fire. And as we're exiting this Aries season in terms of like astrology and entering into Taurus, it's especially important now to be really attentive to bringing in that warmth, calling in, where I'm located, the spring and summer and the heat of the year. And in my personal life, I'm also doing so to call in a location change where I'll be someplace that's much warmer, like hotter in general. And same with cold. Cold has healing elements and learning opportunities, just like heat does. Sage is a great activator to open space to connect with the spirit realm if you set that intention. For me, it really puts me into that space and that energy frequency to be able to open up portals and spaces. And that's something I've discovered just through my own experimentation and exploration and learning with it. Own what you know. I'm excited to get into the reading now. I've been excited for this, and we're using a different, sorry, I just jumped right in, but come back to your body. We're gonna now transition to the reading, and today we're gonna use a different deck. So I'm excited to see what happens, because these ones are a little, I don't know, I always had a little bit of resistance around it and just not the same connection as I did with my other one, the red deck. So let's see how this goes. Ooh, okay. Okay. So first, I want to show you the first card that fell out was this one, which is really beautiful. And it says soul meeting. Okay. It's like we're tapping into our innate birthright abundance, like a temple of treasures beyond our imagination. We're all much more equipped to hold space for this level of this type of frequency that is available to us to connect with and access. And frequency and energy is another way to experience it is through money. That's one form of frequency and energy. It's also simply through information you receive, like if you ever have an aha moment or your inspiration or like a creative download, whatever it may be, it's like it feels like something just kind of got dropped into you. And that's also what this visual represents, is that access point and the connection with that realm of prosperity is not for like material gain, but more so for enjoyment and pleasure and the playful and fun experience that you can have in the creative process of creating something on your heart, a vision that you feel or you've seen or you've felt interested in. Like maybe you're like, ooh, I'd like to do that. Like even that in itself is an example of receiving a desire that sparks your curiosity or your interest to explore. And then to bring that into fruition and into form, there's a connection and a relationship that is necessary to do it in harmony with your authentic way of creating, which is through your connection with source and with the spirit realm and with your higher self and your soul and all points of access to something beyond the physical, tangible world. There's this energetic world that we all can connect with through love, and creating something with love at the center, that's the pot of gold. And soulmating is like basically pointing to that relationship of union and collaboration and working together with that inspiration and source of where these ideas come from, and you being the vessel to bring it into form by being the physical action and also the physical vessel to receive those ideas and receive gifts of whatever form. Sometimes bringing something into form requires action, and sometimes it's also just being open to receive it and not even do anything about it, but just let it move through you, because what you're receiving is just energy moving through your channel in your body, and it's getting rooted into the earth, and it's having a ripple effect, being felt and like emitted out into the rest of the world that others will be connected with and feel, because we're all connected to each other. So as you are open to receive, it's not just for yourself, but you're also just receiving it. Even if you don't verbalize it out loud or you don't do anything about it, it's still being received and influencing the people in your life and the nature, the trees around you, the community wherever you live, but even globally, like just basically beyond the world as well. There's a ripple effect and a mirror effect beyond into the realm outside of Earth. And in every realm beyond that, like not necessarily just space, but like outer space, but more so in a like the spiritual realms. So that inward revolution, so this is the next card that we're gonna bring forward. We're getting real smoky in here. I think I'm gonna bring this to a little close here. So some of the revolution that we're working through is the one where you have to really stand your ground in both the humility of being a student, but also that you have things to share, you have knowledge, you have learned things on your journey, and just that all of that information is valid and it's valuable and vital to bring into, to speak it and to share it and to offer it, because whatever that is, even if it's maybe not the most evolved or whatever judgment you may have on it, it's something that's going to, especially if you're like nervous to share it, it's definitely something that's going to offer like an activation for others to awaken themselves and that aspect of themselves too. To speak their voice, speak to their truth. So being able to tap into this realm of possibilities and this treasure tower requires consistent, constant inward revolution and metamorphosis that we go through cyclically and throughout our life. Every stage of life has different things to learn, and that's what the inward revolution is referencing. It's also referencing a revolution of your relationships, but less so to, I'm talking about relationships with things like your spiritual gifts and your capacity to be in communication with intuition, with ancestors, with any guides that you may be receiving connection with, and your awareness and confidence in that communication you're receiving. Because the more you bring attention to it and you honor it and you're like, okay, you bring validity to it, the louder and more clear it's going to be, so you can have a more confident, clear message if that's part of something you're doing, to channel that and share whatever information you're receiving or guidance or lessons you're learning from those guides. Or it's also just really helpful to have connection and relationships with these beings from the spirit realm that are there to help you when you're doing things as simple as like moving, like if you're trying to move, or if for anything that you're manifesting, really, that's on your heart, that's a vision for you, that leaning into and building that relationship is actually going to be so important for leading your own path forward, and a path that is like really authentic to you, and also utilizing the magic of what's available and possible in this world as a creator of it. So this theme of wings has been coming up. I don't know if you can see it, but behind the rose there's some wings. And today I've seen a couple wings distinctly, very boldly. And well, recently someone told me in a personal reading that wings are, reflective of the travel that's to come. But also, let's see if there's anything else for this message. It's like we're all taking flight into the astral realms. And leading creation. With blossoming abundance. And this blossoming rose is at its peak, like, moment when you can smell that rose and it's like beautifully placed. The petals are just so open. There's still some more to open, but some of it's really full. So it's a very ripe moment when it comes to love. And this is something that actually reminds me, like, this season right now, it's like a new wave, kind of like in the winter, there's a moment when you really need to tap into love to help find the light throughout the darkness. Here's another moment where tapping into and really surrendering to love is really important as the seasons are changing, and to bring in a new creation forward through this like upcoming year, because we're in a new cycle. So spending some time connecting with love, or being open to learn about love, or to see where maybe love can help you to surrender your walls and to create something with love. Maybe take some time to meditate on this, and even just ask out loud the question about it, like, what is there for me to look at that's something I'm creating a block with because I am refusing to open myself to love and let love lead the way. So for this week specifically, it's really honing in on the journey and tapping into your heart again, letting that be the path forward. And this next card is the soul journey. So we're walking through this portal. We're still in April. I think a few weeks ago I mentioned April is a portal time, and we're still in this portal. And every step is a step in the direction of energetically laying the foundation for and embodying the energy of whatever is most fiery on your heart to realize, like bring into form, to realize and to create this year. And maybe there's stepping stones that you can focus on for even bigger creations, like rather than jumping like something really massive, feel into what's like the big heart's desire, and be really neutral on like rigidity around, notice when you feel rigidity around what you are trying to force happen versus what you really want to happen. That's how I'm, yeah, because something that came to me when I've been doing a lot of walks lately, and it's like the things in your life will manifest so much quicker when when you're putting focus on things you actually want rather than things that you're like settling for. So if you're bringing attention to something you're settling for, it's just not going to be as potent. And I think sometimes we get nervous to like focus on the thing we actually want because, there can be this tension of like scarcity around whether it's going to actually happen or not, or this and that. But truly, the task of letting go is simply so that the energy of that desire or that thought or that wish can leave you and then be like brought back. It can only come back to you if it leaves you. So you have to like, it's not even letting go, like just let it be, just let it leave. And even if maybe it doesn't come back, that's okay. Like learn how to really be okay and feel okay with it, the possibility of it not coming back to you, and ground into that sensation after you let something go, like a vision, you let it move out into the world, and then come back to a state of cultivating peace and love for where you are right now and the treasures of what is here right now and where you are physically now. Like come back to loving this place here, and whatever you can tap into to cultivate that love. Gratitude is a great option. For me, connecting with nature is really helpful because it helps me come back to my body and a state of like relaxation and peace, and appreciation. And yeah, the little things also add up. So really practice looking at everything with fresh eyes and be like, wow, I get this. And notice what's already budding in your life, like what has already been taking shape and evolving in that direction of something you've had a vision for in the past. Like what are some examples of things evolving already for you? For example, 2 years ago, I wrote, I shared this someplace online already, but I wrote a sketch of an idea for making these floral vessels. So these, like vases, but they're more unique to floral design and like have unique shapes, and different ideas of how I wanted to structure it so that it could be easier to use for someone just at home, someone who doesn't have all the floral design tools. And then I realized that I could use some of my clay pottery skills that I was learning and create not necessarily that final vision, because for that vision to come forward, I think I would need a little bit more collaborative help and funding and things like that. But I had all the resources to make a version of it, which would be like a bowl that can be used for a certain style of floral arrangements. And I knew how to make bowls. So I have like a stepping stone of this vision to create vases for floral arrangements already coming into form. And that's just an example of one thing, how a vision is coming to form by building and learning processes and growing processes. So earlier when I was doing the clearing with the sage, I had this like voice come in that was really excited for me to share about this vision that actually was spoken to me. Someone else channeled a vision that I watched her video, and then, but also it came up for me too. And what I saw from it was that it looks like a cornucopia, and this cornucopia is kind of like another way to describe this card that I pulled, because this is the main message, the main card to focus on. Like, look how there's even a flower in the center, kind of like the rose. So this feels like tapping into cornucopia level of abundance and bliss, and letting the path of love be what brings you through that cornucopia, kind of like a tunnel. Like, look how that looks like. If this was like the tunnel, like a path leading into the cornucopia, and this was the cornucopia. Like, that was the cornucopia. And this is like also part of it. It's like a whole picture comes together. Okay, yep, here's that. Oh, it fell. And then we have this too. It's like the inner light is really coming from the inside, and your inner revolution and evolution that happens with taking time to be with yourself and be reflective and meditate and take a walk and be open to receive insights and downloads and messages in whatever way that happens best for you, because those are your guiding steps forward on this path of the within the cornucopia of love. This cornucopia of love. Soulmating. And wouldn't it be fun to experience all of this with other people that like honor you and see you and reflect back to you the level of love and care and compassion you bring to the table? Because all of this requires some level of fierce, like warrior energy. There's a sword in this heart, and there's both a way to be open with your heart, but also protection with your heart. And the best way to protect is to let go with love, and to be fierce in your love. And it's a really, for me, it's a practice to come back to choosing what love would do. It's not necessarily an easy one. I mean, it's something that we all have the capacity to do, and it may take some time for certain relationships and people that we may be interacting with, but there is a way to really act from a place of what would love do. And a lot of times that has to do with forgiveness. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to give something that is out of alignment for you, but just simply having the forgiveness within your own heart can be a way to energetically release yourself from something, and that's the sword of protection. And loving just like all of yourself, not just loving one aspect, but loving, the parts of yourself that have fears, or the parts that have doubts, or loving and embracing the parts of you that feel pride and get caught up in the ego aspect of life. Because it's really just all about balance and acceptance of all all spectrums of the color wheel. The beautiful and the ugly. Okay. And this is also fitting. The last card I'll share with you all is this authentic truth one. And that really, for me, solidifies what I was saying about embracing like the duality of our nature, the dual aspects of our experience, and that we have to hold space for both. And, you know, there's many different ways and examples of what duality looks like in your life. You know, there's different emotions like on opposite spectrums, like love and hate, or I don't know. I'm sure you can come up with your own examples. All right, so we're going to close out today with a little bell. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And whenever this message comes to you, there's something here for you. And especially this week, today is April 21st, 2025. The space is officially closed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.